Got it.
Okay. So welcome to October 21st. It's a great day, and it really matters that you're here. We're so excited about that, so thank you. We've been talking about this. Most of you have already done it, but if you haven't, put your first name, last name, your pronouns that you go by, and your grade. And just one quick announcement, Loaves and Fishes, which is where we make food for people who are hungry down at the Dorothy Day Center in downtown St. Paul. There's still some slots open next Wednesday afternoon. So if you're free, and I know some of you will be in school, but some of you are done afternoon in time. If you're interested in volunteering, there's the link there on the screen, or just drop Katie a note. She can tell you more about it. But before we start, let's just take a minute. I'm gonna even set my timer so it's a full minute, just to breathe and invite God into our hearts and let go of all the drama of the day. So here we go. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So this game is called Thrown Up. All the answers have something to do with royalty. So you gotta put on your thinking crowns. So here is first one to shout out the answer wins. So unmute and say the answer when you get it. Here's an example. See if anybody can get this one. We are the champions. Our flamboyant glam rock has sold over 130 million records. Queen. All right. Okay. You got it. So, all right. You understand the game. So here we go. First question. I'll have a Whopper, fries, and a chocolate shake. Your
Burger King.
Burger King, yes. The artist formerly known as?
Prince.
That one is pretty easy when you live in the Twin Cities. This royal is known as much for his electric hairdo as for his boxing promotion prowess. This one's harder. Somebody say something?
Kiss.
No, it's got to have royalty in its name somehow. All right. Don King. That one was kind of hard. I don't know if you've ever seen him before.
That's sort of before their time.
I know. It's Scrumpdelicious. This soft serve ice cream had its coronation in Illinois in 1938.
Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen.
Yes. Dairy Queen. Don't step on his blue suede shoes. If he wasn't the biggest entertainer of all time, this wouldn't be his nickname.
The king of, just the king.
We'll give it to you. Elvis Presley, the king. Yes. Vacation aboard ship with either of these Regal cruise lines.
Queen Mary.
Oh, that's a good one. Any others? Princess Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean, but we'll give you Queen Mary because that's the name of a ship. That's the name of a ship. Let's see. This thriller crowned himself after music.
Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yes, yes. Third place in the Cola Wars is still worthy of a bow. I thought this one was hard. I wouldn't have gotten it.
Third place in the cold. Oh, I know this.
Anybody else? Okay, Pastor Lois.
Royal Crown. Now we call it RC, but it used to be called Royal Crown.
Right, and did they still make RC?
My mom bought some and I drank like the whole package.
There you go. It's good
All
stuff.
right. The
Good
first
stuff.
lady of rap was born Dana Owens in New Jersey in 1970. She's also holding court in the movie industry.
Queen Latifah.
I think you got it.
So
Yes. This 20-something leading man is best known for his roles in Down to You, She's All That, and Scooby Doo. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Wait, who does he voice?
Okay, so I guess we've got a tie somewhere because we've got a tiebreaker question. So one more question. Uncle Jesse, Daisy, Bo, and Luke. This is an old show. No guesses? The Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, that's an old show. That was, yeah.
yeah, that was, yeah.
I thought Uncle Jesse was Full House, but I was like, wait, no, those are the kids' names.
Right, there was one there too.
All right, let's dive into a lesson here. Real quick, share my screen again. Okay, so today, as we've been kind of working our way through different parts of the Bible, the section that we're looking at today is called the wisdom literature. You know, we've done like history, the prehistory, and history, and this section is called wisdom. So that kind of indicates it's going for a different dimension of our personality. These are the books that are part of the wisdom literature. The first book on that list is not Job. It's pronounced Job in the Bible. Psalms, that's the biggie in this category. There's also Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, kind of a weird word, and the Song of Solomon. And all of these books kind of deal with life's issues, whether it's our struggles or our joys or our challenges or our celebrations. They're all about human emotions and God's presence in all of those. Job, just a little bit about each book. Job is the story of a guy who he kind of loses everything and feels like God is really out to get him. Like, why can't things go well for him? And it's a whole book about struggling with faith in the midst of challenge. And here's two little verses from the book. One where he says, "Therefore I will not restrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul." So he is really kind of yelling at God about what's happened with him. But he also, in another part of the book, says, "For I know that my Redeemer lives, and that at the last he will stand upon the earth." So this kind of voice of faith, even in the midst of challenge. Ecclesiastes, fancy name, is a book by, it says King Solomon, but we don't really know. But this is somebody who kind of was like in a mode of like, why does it matter? It just doesn't matter. Nothing ever changes. And this writer says, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Why do people gain from all the toil at which they toil under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. Kind of like saying, you know, we try so hard to make things better, and it just seems like things stay the same. And God, what do we do with that? And this writer struggles with God around those questions. Song of Solomon is like the Bible's sex book. It is the kind of reflection of two people who are in love, and they are so attracted to each other they can hardly stand it. If you want to read the steamiest book in the Bible, Song of Solomon is the place to go. Don't tell your parents what's in it. They probably don't really know. Or if you want to shock them, you can read some passages from here. Pick them for your confirmation project. Just one verse, one that I felt like I could read to you without feeling embarrassed. Oh, that you would kiss me with the kisses of your mouth, for your love is better than wine. But I put it just to show you that any emotion or feeling that we've ever had or human beings have ever had is in the Bible. It's all there. But the biggie is the Psalms. The Psalms, if you have your actual book of the Bible, the easiest way to find the Psalms is just put your thumbs in the middle and open it up, because it's almost always exactly in the middle of the Bible. And the Psalms were like the hymnal for the ancient Jewish people. It's where they put all of their songs that they sang. There are 150 of them. And they span the emotions. You can find a psalm of someone who is just so excited and thrilled. You can find a psalm where someone is angry. In fact, there's some really angry stuff in there. People have really gone after God about what's happened in their life. There's psalms about compassion, psalms about being afraid. I kind of think of the Psalms as help in realizing that any emotions that we ever feel, if we think we're not normal having some kind of emotion or reaction, if you go to the Psalms, you're going to find somebody who had exactly the same feeling that you did, and they reacted to it and they included God in it. I kind of think of the Psalms as one of those places in the Bible where our right brain and our left brain kind of cross over, because you got the analytical side of things, and then you have the poetic side, the music things. And to read the Psalms or to pray the Psalms actually makes your brain go from right to left, and it's like brings God into both places in your brain. There are, I should note to you that there are 66 of those Psalms are Psalms that are lament, where people are crying out to God or struggling or angry, and they're like saying, God, why did you do this to me? Or they feel abandoned or sad. One of the ways to appreciate the Psalms, and we do this in church, we sing them because they were originally meant to be sung rather than to be to be read. And I just put this slide on here so because you'll see this in our bulletin at church sometimes. And so I thought I'd help you interpret how to read it. This gives you guidance on how to sing a song. First, you learn a little tone like da 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 dum. And then you'd say, I lift up my eyes to the hill. See where that little mark is? That's like where you change your note. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where is my help to come? And then you just use that. There's a whole bunch of those little tones, which you just learn, you know, someone demonstrates it and then you kind of sing it back. I like doing the Psalms that way, even by myself, which is kind of weird. But it does that right brain, left brain thing that I think is kind of deep down in your soul, kind of healing. I also put this Psalm in here because it's one of my favorites. And it means a lot to me when I'm not sure where to go or what to do or what's happening. This is Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where's my help to come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And then the last part of the Psalm is just kind of comforting. The Lord will preserve you from all evil and will keep your life. The Lord will watch over your going out and your coming in from this time forth forevermore. Just a few weeks ago, one of our members at church died. And before she died, these were some of the last verses that I read to her. The Lord will watch over your going out and your coming in from this time forth forevermore. And it was really beautiful thinking that those words had been spoken to many people of faith who've had that great transition from life into death. You can also pray the Psalms just as a prayer. If you don't have words or you don't know how to pray, look up a Psalm and just read it as your prayer. This is one of the famous ones, Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. You restore my soul, O Lord, and guide me along right pathways for your name's sake. See how it's saying you? So it's like when you read this, you're talking to God. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup is running over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's one of like the most famous Psalms, Psalm 23. Then the last book, just real quick, is Proverbs. And this is just like a book of a whole bunch of advice. And truthfully, some of it's good advice. Some of it's actually not so good advice because some of it's got some really ancient stuff that's kind of sexist and kind of problematic. And you kind of weed through it a little bit to get the nuggets out of it. But there's some good stuff into it. So here's just a few of them. Honest people will lead a full, happy life. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. Think about that. Just as water reflects the face, your life reflects the heart. The way you live reflects what's inside you. Intelligent people think about what needs to be done here and now. Fools are always dreaming about faraway places. You can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. And then finally, she is worth far more than rubies. Yeah, Drew's got a thumbs up on that one. So there's all kinds of advice in those books.
Pastor Bradley, there was a question. There was a question in the chat room about what if you don't have dreams? And one of the Psalms was, or was it the Psalm or before that about the dreams? And it's like, well, what if you don't dream? What do you think God would say about that?
Like if you're actually not having dreams, or taking from that passage, that like that last passage we read was making it sound like we shouldn't dream. Like that one passage says, you're blessed if you're in the here and now, but fools are dreaming about the faraway places. I think that's not saying that you shouldn't dream, but it's saying don't get stuck in your dreams. Be in the here and now, live in the moment, be present to it.
That makes sense to me. Does that make sense to the person that asked that? Or do you
Because I
want to say
actually
something?
think dreaming can
I'm
be
seeing
really great. In the Bible, a lot of times angels come in dreams. Like you get messages in dreams about your life. I have weird dreams. I always tell Pastor Lois about them because she's usually in them, because it has to do with something that's happening at church. And then we try to figure out what that means. So, okay. And okay, so I guess we are ready to split up into small groups.